Hey guys, my name is Ismail and welcome to another Blender Daily Tip. And today we're going to be creating a water simulation, an easier way to fake water simulations in Blender. Easy water simulations, not complicated ones. So today I'm also feeling a bit sick, so I didn't know what else to do because I'm so used to making YouTube videos and modeling things in Blender. So I'm not really sure what to do with my time today, though I'm feeling sick. I felt. I should still continue doing this. But so yeah, we're going to do a quick water simulation. So let's get in. And what we're going to be using is called metaballs. If you shift A under this menu, you will see something called metaballs. And these I rarely used, but they can be useful in some cases. So the way they work is that if you duplicate a metaball, it's kind of dissolves to the next metaball near it, and depending on how close that metaball is. So you're not only restricted to balls, you also have capsules, and so anything like that, even when you scale them down, they just kind of dissolve into each other. So if we use them as a particle system, a particle object in a particle system, we can easily create a fake water, kind of a sprout of water jetting out of anything. So let's do that. Let me maybe just show you a few settings you can use here. So if you go to the metaball settings, you'll see that there is a resolution, a render resolution, and a threshold. Influence threshold. The influence they're talking about is how close the metaball should be before it starts to dissolve into the other. So, and the way you select any metaball, you just select the outside ring, because you see, if I have this selected and I try to move this one here, it still have this moving. So you just have to select the outside ring, and then you can move that like that. So the viewport threshold, sorry, the viewport resolution. If you look at the metaball, you can see that it's a bit faceted. Let me see if I can shade this. I don't think you can shade it differently, like to show a flatter shading than a smooth shading. If you're working with metal balls, so but you can see closely that it's a bit faceted. You can see the polygons. So if you want to remove that, or kind of make it more smooth, you would have to reduce the viewport resolution. It works different from the subdivision surface. Instead of giving it a higher number to make it more smooth, you just have to reduce the is number. So if I make it less, you can see that we are increasing the resolution and making it smoother. So also be careful when you're doing this, since we're going to be using these as a particle system. We're going to use a lot of them, so make sure you don't set a too high number, and it won't make any difference if you set a high number. It won't make a big difference if you set a high number when you are rendering the particles out. So, but it will increase your CPU, your render time, and your CPU will, PC will also start slowing down if you use a too high number and you have a lot of particles in your scene. So let's try something. I don't remember what the right number was. Let me reset to the default value. Okay, I think there is a bug in Blender. If you try resetting the default value, it sets it to 0, and 0, since it's a very low number, it's going to give us a very high resolution metaball, which my PC can handle. Blender is trying to crash right now, so let me just end this task and open a new one. So since we have looked at the metaballs, we can just start playing around with the particle system. So I'm just going to I've added a mesh, and now I can add in a particle system. So I'm going to the particle system and hitting new particles. And right now the particles are just falling down. So let's add a metaball. and now go to the particle settings. Under render, we are going to render this as an object and choose our metable as our render object. Right now you don't see the metables. Okay, you see them but they're too small, so what we can do is increase the scale here in the render settings, so that we increase the particles. You can see how this starts to look like water. It's not that the best water you can simulate in Blender if you use the Blender water simulation, but the problem with that is it takes a lot of time to bake out water, and yeah, if you want something cheap, maybe you want your camera is not going to be that close, or maybe you just want low resolution water. So this can really work well if you're trying to create water fountains. So let's just push. Let me show you why I'm doing this. So if because right now the water is just falling down, if I wanted to make a water jet or fountain, then I would have to increase the normal velocity for the particles so that they jet up, and then maybe gravity pushes them downwards. So let's go to the particle settings, and under the velocity, push the normal to about 10, which is too much, maybe 2, 5. Okay, you can see we are getting something closer, and maybe let's increase this bit. So you can see the water is just going straight up because our normal is facing directly straight up. So the reason why I inserted this and push this up a bit using Alt S is that so that I have some normals facing opposite direction, different directions. If I go to the overlays and turn on normal display, you can see that now my normals are facing in different directions. So now the particle systems are going to be emitted in different directions, like that. If you want, maybe you can give this as subdivision surface, so that water is I think you have to apply that or push it above the particle system. But I think that's too much, so let me not do that. These kind of touches, that's usually how these water fountains work. They have like 4 spilling outside like this, and then 1 going up like that. So we're seeing a lot of balls instead of we're seeing a lot of these instead of the one kind of trail of water. So let's go to the particle system and increase the particle number maybe to something like 500, so that we have enough enough large balls to kind of create that sprout like that. And again, make sure you don't have a very high resolution or a very low resolution viewport number here, so that we don't run into lagging issue. You can see right now my FPS is dropping to about 10. So let me increase the number here to about 8. You see, it's not really affecting how this looks. And I think we have set the particle number too high because I want to also have some particles that are breaking off to make it a bit more realistic. And yeah, so if you don't want this going down like this, you can have this maybe in a vase or something. Let me just create something simple here. Push this in. Okay, so maybe something like that, and now we can give this a collision. How is it called? Collision physics property, so that these particles can collide with it. So let me extend it so that all the particles can collide in with it. So let's see how that looks. You can see that's what we are getting. We can also increase maybe the damping. So this is for the cloth. We need to increase the damping here and maybe give it some sticky friction as well, random friction. Great, great, great. Obviously, it's not going to collect like the water you have simulated with Blender. So what you may do, maybe add some a mesh around here to kind of to be your water collecting something like that. Let's make this even more fun by adding some materials here. So let's give this a new PBR material. So let me find some good PBR texture here. Bricks. Let me, should I use this? You know what, let's just do something simple here. This is not a texturing tutorial, so you know what, I also want to make it look good, so I'll just mark a seam there, mark a seam there. First clear this, then unwrap these. Let's go to the UV textures. I want them to align, rotate these. Just need to straighten these to follow. It would be a lot of work to kind of straighten all these as well, so let me just have it like this. This is enough for us. Maybe let me turn on proportional editing and connected. Okay, so this doesn't have connected on. Maybe let me just straighten these a bit and scale up. Okay, so this is our fountain. Let's add in some ambient occlusion, color ramp. I think I'll be doing another tutorial for just using on how to use a single image to create some PBR textures, but for now let's just have something like this. This is too refractive, so I'll add a math node here, control the roughness and bump map here. Okay, so this is turning into a kind of texturing tutorial, which I didn't want to do, but I also want to make the results look a bit look good, decent. So this is, let's create a shader for our water. So this should be simple. Let's have give this a transmission, and under render settings we can give it some screen space reflections and also refraction, and for this we can come to the material setting and turn on screen space reflections as well. Have this share the same material, make sure this is recording. You can see we have the roughness set high for water, so let's reduce that. Maybe give this some color. Should we not? And basically you have our water fountain. Make sure, okay, you can see how I think it turned out great. Let's change the try playing it. This looks even better. You can see so let's select the particle system. Let me push this in under the water. Let's go to the particle system and reduce just give the scale some randomness here. You can see it actually looks good, I think. Maybe to make this even more fancy, let's apply this subdivision surface, and let me make sure, let me first go to layout so that I see a simpler version of this. Also turn on random colors. Let me hide everything. I want this to kind of have a wavy pattern, so let me add, maybe we need more subdivisions for this, so let me add a second and add, let's try a wave. No more. Change the, okay, this is the kind of the amplitude. This is the height, sorry, the speed. Life. For the wave, let's see. No, you know what? Let's just use displacement modifier here instead of that, and add a clouds particle system. Sorry, texture. Shade smooth, and give this an object texture coordinate. So let me add an empty here. Use that as our object to control the wave. Alright, then you just have to give this some keyframes. I think even rotating it is enough, so let's just rotate it instead of moving it. Perfect, and hide everything. Go to materials, and there you have it, a working fountain. You can increase. Okay, so because we have this object here, the metaball in our scene is also intersecting with our water. So let me push it down. First turn off these keyframes where we don't see it, and see. Great. So let's see, what else can we do? You know what, I'm out. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. Maybe let me save this project, so because I'm doing this medieval kind of asset collection that I'll be selling on my CG Trader store and Turbo Squid. So, and I think this fits in very well with that theme, medieval. So I'll just have to improve the texturing on this, maybe. See how awesome Blender is? You work on something as a tutorial, and the next thing you know, you can make some bit of money out of it. So I think I will be using this. I think it didn't come out too bad. Maybe just add in a few details. Something I should do after the tutorials. After the tutorial is done, not during this tutorial. But if you got this far, maybe you are a big fan, not to care how far the video goes. So yeah, let's just continue a bit, adding a few details here. Now, let me also plug my second channel where I'm uploading all these tutorials. Oh, by the way, this channel here, Blender Manda, is it's a nice Blender channel. So for tips like this, I also sometimes go there to check some new tips that guy discovers. It's an awesome channel if you want to check it out. So yeah, this is not it. This is Blender 1-on-1, but make sure I didn't show anything here that I shouldn't. Nothing. Anyway, so this is the second channel. I'm posting all the medieval models I'm making as time lapses, so you can watch them there. Uh, yeah, but I think I'm going to be using this as well, adding there. So, and I'll be selling them as game assets. And since game engines may not support this kind of metaball system or particle system, let me create water fountain thing. It's not medieval, but since it's the theme I'm going for, let me just name it that, medieval water fountain. And let me create a backup copy so that I don't lose the particle system. And if you want to examine the project and you're a patron, you can request the project file for this. But since I may export this to Unreal Engine or another project, I need to apply the particle systems here. So I need to select the particle object, convert that, and we have these metaballs. Now we need to also convert these into a mesh. So convert object, convert to mesh. So there is no animation anymore, but this I think looks great for a game engine. Even ArtViz render. Obviously, I'll work on the textures and improve them, but yeah, this is how you make a simple fountain in Blender. Thank you for watching.